So I always felt I had a sixth sense. I sometimes see things that aren't really there, or I'll have dreams and my dreams will come to fruition. And sometimes I hear things, and it's something I've noticed from a young age, but I've never really looked into or developed. So when I was in high school, one of my friends tricked me into seeing the movie Exorcist, and it was a very traumatic experience. It was a 1973 original Exorcist movie, the really, really scary one. And what happened was they re-released it on the big screen, and my friend said, you know, she's going to the movies with her boyfriend, and that my crush was going, and that I should go. So I was really excited to go, and then he showed up to the movies with another girl, and I found out we were seeing The Exorcist, and then I couldn't sleep alone for 2 years after that. So I would sleep on the floor of my parents' rooms, and my mom was newly dating her boyfriend at the time, so it was really weird for them, because they would be in bed and then I would just come in and sleep on the floor. And anyway, so I get really freaked out really easily. It got so bad that we had to call the pastor of our church and ask him to pray with me over the phone, because I was just like so freaked out. So in 2010, I got hired to work at the Queen Mary's Halloween event called Dark Harbor. And now, normally I don't like scary mazes, but I figured because I'm an actor that it wouldn't be so bad. You know, I would be the one scaring the guests, so it'll be fine. So what they had me do was they had me as a swing. So anytime there was an actor missing at the event that night, I would just fill in for them. So it was working all over the event. So they have like this outside parking area where you can scare people, and sort of mazes in there, and this dome area, and there's a maze in there. And then they have mazes on the ship. The first time I went to the ship for orientation, all of my senses were buzzing. Now, they say that the hauntings on the ship have been debunked, but I felt something very intense there that I can't describe. So as I was driving to work every night, I would just pray in my car that they would not put me on the ship, because it would freak me out. And I'll never forget the first night that they assigned me to the ship. I was on a maze, in a maze called Submerged, and I had to walk from the dome to the ship in my makeup and costume. And the number one rule is don't break character. So I pumped myself up. I was like, okay, this is a great acting challenge. Okay, gonna take on this role of a demonic woman who's been drowned to death, and it's gonna be fine. So actually, I have a photo of me. And I was really, really scared, and I just kept talking myself through it, thinking about my character. I walked to the ship, got to my position, did a bunch of scaring. Now the thing is, when you're on the ship, you go on break every 45 minutes. So when I would have to go on my break, I'd have to walk through the entire maze to get to the break room. There was like no easy access. So, and the other actors thought it was hilarious to scare me while I would go on break, which was horrible. It was horrifying. So anyway, at the end of the night, I get through it, I'm checking out, and the director of Dark Harbor presents me with a Target gift certificate, or gift card, for doing an excellent job. And he said, when you walked to the ship, that was one of my favorite moments of the entire evening. I was like, oh shit. Like great, I did a great job, but now there's expectations that I have to fulfill. So I somehow made it to the end of the run, and then they presented me with the award Monster of the Year. And it was like, great, such a great honor, right? But now I have to come back every year because, I don't know, it's just like this guilt inside of me. It's like, you can't get this award and then not come back. Like, I feel like that would be a slap in the face to them. So I came back the next year, got through another season, mortified. And then at the end of the second year, they inducted me into the Monster Hall of Fame. Thanks, guys. And so I was like, shit, now it's just like, there's no getting out of this. So now fast forward to 2013. My husband was back in New York spreading his mother's ashes. And I was working in this creepy clown maze in the Dome, and it was a slow night, there was not a lot of guests. I get home, and I go to bed, and I wake up like an hour later from the worst nightmares, and just this cold sweat, and I was sick for days after, and I decided that I can't be a monster anymore. I can't go to the Queen Mary. It's too terrifying. It's getting in my system. I can't do it. And they wanted me to do the Christmas event that year. And I said, no, I'm so sorry. I'm too busy. I just can't. I can't go back there. So then last year, my husband and I we were in New York, and my father-in-law decided to take us to see this medium, which I know sounds weird or crazy, but his family, dealing with the death of his mother, they have seen this medium a bunch of times, so it's pretty normal for us. And we get there, and the first thing he says, he looks over at me and says, I don't know why you're here, you know you can do what I do. And I was like, yeah? He's like, you're from LA originally, right? It's like, yeah. It's like, you need to find people in Los Angeles that will help you develop this power, basically. And it was really intense and cool. So then, earlier this year, I get a message from the director of Dark Harbor saying, we would really love to have you back, even if it's just for a few days. And I was like, I can't say, I'm sorry, I can't do it because I'm sensitive to paranormal activity, and like being on the ship, it just freaks me out. So I caved and said, yes, I'll do it. And I was driving there to fill out my employee paperwork, and a huge rock hit my car and made a huge crack across my windshield. And then I get there, and they can't process me as an employee because somehow my social security card is not in my wallet, which I thought was there. So I took it as a sign, and I said, I'm so sorry, but I'm just too busy to do it this year. I mean, really, I am. I'm busy watching Dance Moms. I'm busy doing sketch comedy. I'm busy keeping up with the election. I can come up with 1,000 reasons why I'm way too busy to go to Long Beach every night. Anyway, on the plus side, I always know when my mother-in-law is around. It's fantastic. And unlike the spirits that are at the Queen Mary, hers really calms me. That's my story.